The Dodgers are one win away from winning their 8th World Series championship. Another dominant pitching performance for the Dodgers in Game 3 Monday night in New York. The Dodgers beat the Yankees 4-2 to take a 3-0 lead. Dodgers right-hander Walker Buehler threw 5 shutout innings. 6 relievers came in after Buehler and held the Yankees scoreless until the 9th. The Dodgers can wrap it up tonight in Game 4. No team has come back from a 3-0 deficit in the World Series. First pitch tonight at 5:08. The Lakers suffered their first loss of the season. They lost at Phoenix 109-105. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant combined for 63 points. Anthony Davis had another strong night with 29 points and 15 rebounds. LeBron had an off night. He made only 3 of 14 shots and finished with just 11 points. The Lakers are at Cleveland on Wednesday. The Clippers are off until Wednesday when they host Portland. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Feeding Our Friends on the Outside will be hosting its 15th annual Feeding the Homeless event in Greater Los Angeles on Sunday, November 10th from noon until at 11129 South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. If you would like to donate or volunteer, please call 310-981-6377 or email them at feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. It's the 15th anniversary of Feeding Our Friends on the Outside, Sunday, November 10th from noon until 11129 South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. For more information, call 310-981-6377, 310-981-6377. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I don't know if it was Jamaica funk, but that first hour was a little funky. It was a little funky in that first hour, but the funky stuff is the good stuff, right? The funky stuff is the good stuff. We thank Amanda Seals for a spirited first hour. I never know on any given day how this thing is going to roll. And I did not know that conversation was going to go where it went. I ain't never mad at it. You know me. I'm following the guest. And I love when guests speak their truth. I meant what I said at the end of that first hour. If life is about anything, it's about seeking the truth and speaking the truth and standing on the truth and staying with the truth. And let me be clear. That does not mean that Amanda Seals, Tavis, Smiley, or anybody else on this program, or in the world for that matter, has a monopoly on the truth. You've heard me say before, there is the truth and there is the way to the truth. And you got to be humble enough to understand that you don't have a monopoly on the truth. And yet it is true that we have to find the courage to say what we see, to call the shots as we see them with humility. And I'm never afraid. You hear me say all the time, this program at its best is about challenging you to re-examine the assumptions that you hold. At our best, we're trying to help you expand your inventory of ideas to see the world through a different prism. So you ain't never got to agree with everything I say. My mama, trust me on this, my mama doesn't agree with everything I say. So you ain't got to agree with me or any of my guests, but I'm hoping that what we're bringing you is A series of conversations every day that allow you, again, to re-examine your assumptions, and you may find that you're right once you do the re-examination, right? You may think they're wrong and you're still right, but you can't be afraid to have your buttons pushed, to see things a little bit differently. And I will never apologize for that. Never have and never will. I try to bring you conversations that at least get your. I'm not trying to raise your blood pressure, but I am trying to raise your civic IQ. That's all I'm trying to do. So I thank Amanda Seals for that first hour. In this hour, as promised, two conversations on the backside of this hour. November is Native American Heritage Month. We will speak with the entrepreneur, Aseki LaFrance Chacheri, about growing up Native and African American and what it means to own your story and self-determine how you show up in the world. We'll do that on the backside of this hour. We commence this hour in conversation, as promised, with Booker T. Washington. He's back, y'all. Booker T is back. He's the founder of Techie Homes, and he's on to talk about his work developing the first black-owned micro-home community and what it means for the financial futures of its residents. Booker T. Washington, an honor, sir, to have you on this program. How are you today?
Oh, no, it's an honor. It's all mine, Tavis. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on and to speak with you, so thank you very much.
No, it's my pleasure to have you. Obviously, we have to start with this. When I told the audience an hour ago that in my second hour, Booker T. Washington was going to be here, I got a couple responses to that. So, a couple of things. I'm just curious. I love the backstory. A couple of things. One, how did you get that name? And secondly, I want to ask you, what does it mean to navigate a world with a name like that? That's that's a lot of pressure, man, to have Booker T. Washington as a name. So give me the backstory, first of all.
Yeah, absolutely. No, very interesting enough. My mom went to Tuskegee Institute, and a lot of people, forget that it was an institute for a university, but she went there as an adjunct professor. And what's going to really blow your mind is my brother. I have an older brother. His name is George Washington Carver Hill. We got two different fathers, so he carried his father's last name, but my mom's maiden name was Washington. So his name is George Washington Carver Hill, and my name is Booker T. Washington.
Wow.
And so since I was the baby, how it went for the institution is my mom, when I was born, mom said, well, hell, George was never any good without Booker T, who ran the show. So that's where the name was birthed. And I do have his full name, Booker Telefero Washington.
Yeah. That is, to my second point, that is a lot, it can be a lot of pressure to deal with. Let me just say this, a quick story here. Years ago, this is many years ago, I went through a phase where I was jealous of some of my friends. I admit this. Friends, specifically Jesse Jackson Jr., because he got his daddy's name. I talked to Jesse Jr. yesterday, as a matter of fact. He called me last night. He had his daddy's name, Jesse Jackson Jr., and my friend Martin Luther King III had his daddy's name. These are all personal. These are my boys. These are friends of mine. And I was always jealous for the longest time of that legacy that they had just in the name that they carried. And the longer and the more I got engaged in my work and my witness, the more grateful I became that I didn't have the burden of having the name Jesse Jackson Jr. or Martin Luther King III. I was able, as Tavis Smiley, to establish myself, to show up in the world the way I needed to show up and wanted to show up. I didn't have the burden of carrying that name. When we come forward, I want to ask this Booker T. Washington what the burden is of carrying a name like that. I'm glad his mama gave it to him, but there's a lot of pressure, it seems to me, carrying that name. We'll talk about that, and then we'll jump straight way into this conversation about what Booker T. Washington is doing, developing the first black-owned micro-home community, and what that really means for the financial futures of the folk who live and work there. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
My name is Anton Moore. Around here, we have hardworking people that just need a break. Whether it's investing in small businesses or making housing affordable, Vice President Harris gets it.
Kamala Harris is making sure black men have the tools to build generational wealth. She'll put a policy in place that gives 1 million forgivable loans to help entrepreneurs, including black entrepreneurs, start their own businesses. She also plans to give $25,000 in down payment assistance for first-time homeowners. and crack down on racial bias in home appraisals. Harris's plan will help black men own more assets so we can build long-term wealth.
This is what an investment in my community looks like. We're trying to build generational wealth. No get-rich-quick schemes, no scams, no one-time check, none of that. Vice President Harris got our back. I'll be there on November 5th. Will you be there?
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580 is here for you as you make your voting plan. And we've got a few things you may want to know. In the state of California, you can register to vote all the way up until the last day to vote, which is November 5th. In LA County, you may vote at any voting center or polling place of your choosing. Early voting has already started, both in person and by mail. If you need information about your registration or any election question, call the Registrar of Voters at 800-815-2666. That's 800-815-2666, or visit lavote.gov. Once you fill out your mail-in ballot, you may drop it in any county election mailbox found outside places like libraries, or you could drop it off with a poll worker at any vote center. If you suspect election foul play, voter suppression or intimidation, or other irregularities, or if you need to know more about your rights, call the Election Protection Hotline at 1-866-OUR-VOTE. That's 866-687-8683. From any state. And if you need more information on specific candidates or propositions, check out our interviews and analysis on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, November 5th is the last day to vote, and the sooner we do it, the better. Helping you vote like your life depended on it, because it does. Your election information station, KBLA Talk 1580.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Booker T. Washington, and I mean that sincerely. His name is Booker T. Washington. I'm honored to have him on this program. Before I talk about these techie homes, finally here on your name, I used the word pressure earlier, and maybe pressure isn't the right word, but there certainly is a level of responsibility that one has, it seems to me, when one has that name. I was in conversation a few weeks ago with some people about names, and it has been the case, let's just keep it real, it has been the case that black folk, we black folk have not always been so, how might I put this, so discerning about the names that we give our babies. And Shakespeare put it this way: what's in a name? Well, a lot goes in a name, Mr. Shakespeare. A name matters. I've told this story before, Booker T. I was in an airport one time, rushing through the airport trying to catch a flight, and a woman saw me and came running behind me, and big fan, and wanted me to meet her kids and take a picture right quick. My assistant Raymond says, "Tavis, we cannot miss this flight. We got to make this plane." I said, "Run ahead. You know, I'll be right there. We won't miss it." So Raymond ran and told him I was coming down the corridor. I stopped, got on my knees, took a picture of these two kids, fraternal twins, and I took a photo, and I asked them, I was on my knees, "What are your names?" I'm not making this up, Booker T. I asked them, "What are your names?" Their names were Alizé and Cavassier.
Wow.
Alizé and Cavassier were the names of these fraternal twins. And I got more stories if I had the time of people I've met around the country at book signings and everywhere that have the strangest names. And
wow.
the flip side of that is that when you've done what I've done for so long, and I've been humbled and honored over the course of my career to have some relationship with our people, of course. And so now I know a bunch of people they stay in touch with me. There are a bunch of kids named after me. I know a bunch of Tavises now whose parents have named their babies after me, and that's the most humbling thing in the world for somebody to name their baby after you. So I know what that part feels like. But we've not always been on point when it comes to giving our babies names that actually matter, names that mean things. I'm thinking now of Roots, for those who recall Roots, the series. And every time there was a baby born into this family, you'll recall in the movie, the series, they would step out and hold that baby up and say very simply, behold, the only thing greater than you. Behold, the only thing greater than you. A tradition in that family of Kunta Kinte. We just lost John Amos not too long ago, and I can see the scene where he's holding up his baby girl and saying, behold, the only thing greater than you. So these names actually matter. That's why Kunta fought to hold on to Kunta. He didn't want to be called Toby in Roots. These names matter. I'll digress. I'll shut up. I'll not digress. I'm going to shut up. But I love the fact that you have this name. But is there a pressure, a responsibility when you carry that around every day?
I mean, there's a pressure and responsibility. I mean, but it's a given. I mean, you can't. Nowhere in my life has my name in a stack of paperwork been able to get lost. I can tell you, I've always gotten calls for job interviews just off the curiosity of the name alone.
Yeah.
But that's what it was meant to do, and that's what I give my mother all that credit, because once I got of age and really asked her, because early in school, as childhood kids would do, they kind of made fun of the name and would call it booger and all those kind of things. They didn't quite understand it, but as I grew up, she was like, well, that name is something that will always allow you to work towards something and know that there's a level of greatness for you to strive for outside of just people accepting you how you are.
Yeah.
So she said, that level of pressure has been there, but for me, it's been something that I'm able to lean into because the story of Booker T. Washington, a lot of people don't quite understand the story. And I bring it back to when I talk about Black Wall Street.
Sure.
For people sometimes that glaze over that, they don't know that Black Wall Street kind of started with Booker T. A lot of people don't recognize that. As it was told, all those black entrepreneurs in Tulsa called Tuskegee and asked Booker T, hey, how do we formalize this?
Mm-hmm.
Booker T being one of the nation's first millionaires, once a slave. They said, well, how do we formulate and make this happen? He says, well, I have a plan. I'll come to Tulsa. I'll work with you guys in order to formulate that. And, yes, they became Black Wall Street. But they did call Booker T in order to kind of figure out how to make that happen. And a lot of that gets lost in the story around him, and that he was such a great businessman. He was such a great person that wanted to push the agenda that black folk had a place in this economy. And that's what brings me to my fight and what I did around home ownership, is that we have to, again, highlight to black folk and people of color that you do have a place in this economy. It does rotate around you and through you. And until you start establishing some of that power, which is what home ownership can give you in this economy, you get lost in the wave of everything. So that is what I carry with that weight, and I kind of try to bridge that gap into the business that I do.
Well, let's talk about the business that you do. That's a nice segue. Tell me about Techie Homes and this micro home community.
So as I was thinking about where we were, because right in the middle of the pandemic, and I started thinking, I was working in corporate America. My former career was in human resources as an executive, and I just started looking at how the next transfer of wealth was about to happen. And I I took that into account because all the money that was given away during the pandemic, the trillions of dollars. And then I kept looking at this one statistic that out of all that money, trillions of dollars that got given away during the pandemic, black folk lost traction in net worth. Mm-hmm. The only demographic to lose traction during that transfer of wealth were black folk. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, why is that? And as the more I looked at where the economy was going and where people were strategically pushing housing, I said, well, they're building more and more and more apartments in density for you to rent. And the only people that's going to get wealthy out of that scenario is the person who built the building. But we keep disguising that to black folk. We think it's cool. We live in these very nice apartments, and there's reasons to rent. But if you have the power and the willingness and the ability to own a home, you need to own a home. And so I started thinking about ways of matching construction costs with the ability to own a home and making it where it was really efficient through the use of technology, because that is, as we talk about our artificial intelligence, and where we're going in this new economy, I said we need to have homes, and build community/villages the way we used to. And so that's when I designed a very dense mini subdivision that I kind of dreamed that I would have when I grew up and would move into. And I did it right in the heart of where I used to grow up in Southwest Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. So describe, this is radio, obviously, describe what a micro home and a micro home community looks like.
Yeah, sure. So a micro home is just a home that's 400 square feet to about 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
Okay. Now, in formulation of what a micro home is, the most people are living in a micro home because 7 out of 10 people live in an apartment.
Right.
And an apartment, on average, in an urban environment, is 650 square feet.
Okay.
So when I started designing these homes and people kept saying, well, who's going to buy a micro home and who would live in a small space? I said, well, 9 times out of 10, it's you.
Exactly.
Because you're living in an apartment.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You just call it a different name.
Yeah.
And if you think about the 60s and the 70s, although we may be rehabbing a lot of these properties today, the average square footage of some of the first homes ever purchased by your grandparents or great-grandparents were small homes with low ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to create that in the new age of a community that had homes of that same size so people can start out or come back down without losing their life savings in a way of home ownership. Because when we say we be building accessible and affordable homes in the shape of a small house, affordability is relative to you on both ends of the spectrum. Because let's say you worked all your life and now real estate costs are so expensive. If you sell the current home that you have no ability to buy the new home in this new economy.
That's right. Yeah.
So these homes we design are relative for everybody on the spectrum.
Walk me through, again, we're on radio here. Walk me through, take me through the front door. Tell me what it looks like on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're walking into a home that we've designed, first and foremost, you're going to realize that the architecture and design of the home is something that you're going to have pride with, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have bright wood accent walls, all the things you would have envisioned in a mansion or a bigger home or a dream home. We put all of those things in a small bite-sized space. You have ceiling heights that are over 10 feet and 18 feet. You have bathrooms that have, polished tile. You have all of the LED mirrors. Women love those mirrors because of the makeup and all that type of stuff. And we infuse it with a lot of technology from smart home speakers to voice-activated temperature controls to understair lighting that goes in there. Because for the older folk, you need that understair lighting without having to look for a switch or look for this or that. That brings back the ability for people to not hurt themselves in their home. And then we enhance these homes with things like retractable blade ceiling fans that make sure dust particles don't go in the air, because your home is what makes you most sick, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to try to build in these small spaces, not just a home, but a house people could be proud of, because pride of home ownership is what begins the longevity of wealth.
What's the price line on these micro homes?
When we built South Park Cottages, the price point started at about $180,000. And that is 2 times less than the average home price in Metro City of Atlanta. Right now, the average home of about 1,200 square feet in Metro Atlanta will cost you $437,000.
Wow. That's a difference, Booker T. That is a difference, a real difference.
And guess what? To afford a $437,000 home, you have to be making at least $150,000 to maintain that home and to ensure that you don't get in economic troubles down the road. Now, if you compare that number to the average number black folk earn in Metro Atlanta, the average wage for a black person in Metro Atlanta is $58,000.
Yeah. What does give me let me ask a different question. Is there a prototype? Is there a prototype? Not a prototype. Do you have a profile? Give me a profile of the kind of person that buys, the kind of black person that buys a micro home. Is there a profile?
Yeah, I think it's a profile for black folks and a lot of people of color. Look, the profile is that the average age a black person is buying their first home is age 38.
Right.
If you're buying your first home around age 38, if you've done everything right in your life, going to school, going to secondary education, and you exit and you start being an adult around 22, you would have spent in cold hard cash you would never get back $260,000 by the time you buy your first home.
Right.
So our goal in our profile is to introduce something in a 30-year mortgage that would match the same amount of money you would spend on your rent. So instead of you having to wait to save, if you can afford an apartment, you can afford to purchase a microhome.
Yep.
Because the average mortgage on one of our homes is $1,400. So we tell people don't concentrate on the $180,000 or $200,000. Concentrate on the 30-year mortgage number, and the 30-year mortgage number is about $1,400 or $1,500, comparable to every urban area where the average rent is above $2,000.
So this program is nationally syndicated, as you know. I'm heard in markets all across the country: New York, Chicago, Philly, New Orleans, everywhere. So if you're listening right now, wherever you are, do as I'm doing right now. Go online right now. Techie, Techie, techie-homes.com. Go online right now with me. If you're listening right now, go online with me right now. Techie-homes.com. Techie-homes.com. And you'll see what I'm looking at. This Washington model is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm really digging this Alabama model.
Yeah.
But I want you to see what these microhomes look like. Booker T's already made the point that if you can afford to live in an apartment, you can afford to buy your own microhome. So again, concentrate on that monthly mortgage, not on the 180 or the 240 or the 244. That's why I love this conversation. I love using my platform to give people information that I think they ought to have about how, in fact, they can be a homeowner, because we all know, and you've laid it out quickly and beautifully, that black wealth starts with home ownership. We all get that. But these models, Booker T, are absolutely beautiful to look at.
It's amazing. We just use the use of outdoor space into all the aesthetics that you would want to have pride in and have people come over, because we know as black folk, we also like to have guests. We like to have a party.
Yeah.
We like to showcase people what our prized possessions are. And so instead of just saying, hey, I'm going to build yet another accessible, affordable community, I wanted to transfer the word accessible and affordable not to mean poor.
Yep. Yep.
Because a lot of people, the moment you mention affordability,
I get it.
they turn right to poor.
Yeah, I get it. Let me ask. I got 60 seconds left. I wish I had more time, man. You have to come back on. We'll talk more about this later, because I'm fascinated by this now. In 30 seconds, can you scale this up across the country outside of the Atlanta area?
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever there is an urban market, and your show is around the countrywide, and I want people to listen to my voice. It's simple. Look at your urban area market rent. And if you are not owning a home, if you have the ability to own a home, you should hurry up and do so. In 10 years, the economy will change. If you don't have home ownership and equity in this new economy, you will lose and lose greatly. Our brethren, our other brown brethren, are catching up or surpassing us in regards to home ownership. And so my urge to everyone is to check out techiehomes.com. And if you even look at our next community, which is not even built yet, it's 70% sold out.
Wow.
So what that tells you around the nation is the density and the unaffordability is a major crisis. Future President-elect Kamala Harris is already running on getting home ownership to people through down payments. And there's a reason that it's a national platform, and everyone should be discussing how to really win. I'm
out of time now. We'll do it again. I'm fascinated by this. Techie-homes.com. Check out these models. You'll love it. Booker T. Washington, you living up to that name, man. Thank you for your time. I deeply appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Tavis. All right, thank you for your time.
Stay strong. More of Tavis when we come forward.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever. Backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Federal aid is flowing into western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene's flooding. FEMA has approved over $60 million for tens of thousands of Buncombe County residents. More than 600 homes and 240 commercial units suffered major damage. The Israeli parliament has banned the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees with a new law. Experts warn this sets a dangerous precedent, violating international law. 2 new lawsuits in New York accuse Sean Diddy Combs of sexually assaulting 2 boys. One alleges an assault in 2005 when the victim was 10, involving a drugged soda. The other claims an assault in 2008 when the victim was 17. Both incidents allegedly occurred during auditions for Combs. And today is National Cat Day. The day was founded to encourage those who love cats to celebrate their feline friends. It's also meant to raise awareness of the need to rescue cats. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Blindster is a family-run business that began in 2010, and we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters and received over 100,000 five-star reviews. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Is this the This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are 1 win away from winning their 8th World Series championship. Another dominant pitching performance for the Dodgers in Game 3 Monday night in New York. The Dodgers beat the Yankees 4-2 to take a 3-0 lead. Dodgers right-hander Walker Buehler threw 5 shutout innings. 6 relievers came in after Buehler and held the Yankees scoreless until the 9th. The Dodgers can wrap it up tonight in Game 4. No team has come back from a 3-0 deficit in the World Series. First pitch tonight at 5:08. The Lakers suffered their first loss of the season. They lost at Phoenix 109-105. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant combined for 63 points. Anthony Davis had another strong night with 29 points and 15 rebounds. LeBron had an off night. He made only 3 of 14 shots and finished with just 11 points. The Lakers are at Cleveland on Wednesday. The Clippers are off until Wednesday when they host Portland. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We must understand the politics of our community, and we must know what part politics play in our lives.
Questions about black voters, their disengagement, lack of information, and support or lack thereof for Democratic candidates have once again taken center stage as Democrats, Republicans, and independent candidates compete for this critical voting bloc. Will black voters abandon Democrats in this election, move historic numbers of votes toward the Republican nominee, or will they continue a decades-long trend of overperforming for Democratic candidates up and down the ballot? The stakes have never been higher for Black America. Tune in to KBLA's new show, The Black Pack, hosted by veteran political strategist Adrian Shropshire, every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for a breakdown of the issues, rhetoric, polling, and more this election year. It's The Black Pack with Adrian Shropshire, Fridays from 4 to 6 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
It is indeed, and I'm glad to have you with us in this half hour. As promised, the conversation now, given that November is Native American Heritage Month. And we are pleased to be joined now in conversation with an entrepreneur named Aseki LaFrance Chacheri, who has grown up, has lived all her life as a Native and an African American. I want to talk to her about what it means to own your own story and to self-determine how you show up in the world. Aseki, did I get your name mostly right?
Yes, you did. Hello,
Okay.
y'all there.
It's good to have you on. Thank you for the time. I'm trying not to hack these names up, but I've been practicing that for a couple hours, trying to get it relatively close. But anyway, thank you for coming on. Let me start with the obvious question. As I said, November is Native American Heritage Month, and I am fascinated by your backstory. We'll get to your entrepreneurial pursuits here in a few moments here. But tell me about growing up as a Native and African American. How you navigated that space, or how you are navigating, for that matter, these spaces.
Like you said, it was hard. But, building anything, you need pressure to, create diamonds. And I truly am very grateful that, I have two amazing parents and two sets of strong ancestors who truly guided me throughout this entire journey. Little did I know that this little Native boss babe growing up on the Navajo reservation is going to change up the beauty industry. It's going to change up the country music industry and any industry I step into. So it's really my strength. It's my that's my tools to go into life.
Yeah. Tell me about your childhood and about growing up. You referenced the reservation. Tell me about the backstory to Aseki.
So my reservation is the largest out of all 500 recognized tribes in the country. So I'm a proud res kid. I grew up while my dad was playing football, traditionally in a hogan with no running water, no electricity while our house was being built. And at first I thought it was crazy. I was like, why? How do we fly to Florida and then we're back here living this hard life? But it was a tool for my parents to teach us to not take for granted running water, not take for granted electricity, and just, the responsibility in life to learn how to live off the land, to learn how to take care of our livestock. And it doesn't matter what weather we're in, we still got responsibilities. And those tools, those lessons are life lessons. So I'm here in Houston. So if the lights shut out, guess what? We good.
Yeah. You can navigate that if the lights go out. Yeah. You know what you're doing there. Tell me about when you're running around the reservation as a res kid. I love that. Tell me about your dreams then. We'll talk again about all that you've done as an entrepreneur in a moment here, but tell me about the dreams you had then running around a reservation. And I asked this question because I was talking to a guest on this program not long ago, and she made a powerful point that for too many kids in this country, their zip code is their destiny. Their zip code is their destiny. They really can't see much beyond that. So when you're Native and African American, being raised on a reservation, what are your dreams? What are you imagining?
So again, I'm very, very blessed to have my sisters and I are very blessed to have two amazing parents who really instilled in us that anything is truly possible. At the same time, balancing our traditional way of life and being growing up to being a Black woman. The dreams that I always had was nothing. Again, was impossible because of the love and support I have in my family, but I knew that I was born for something greater. I just didn't know exactly what it was at the time. I knew that I wanted to help. I knew I was born to be a leader of some sort. But that's the beautiful part of having amazing family and culture and community to mold me to do what I do. My goal was not to really, I'm living in my purpose through prayers.
Yeah.
And I'm just, letting the higher power work through me.
Yeah.
So it's really just to help and build.
Yeah.
For the people.
You sort of answered this already, but I want to just probe a little bit more. As a woman, as a black woman, as a Native woman, what do you treasure all these years later? What do you treasure most? I've done some work on reservations. I did a documentary film some years ago and spent a good amount of time on some reservations around the country. But what do you treasure most about having grown up on a reservation?
It's really protecting the culture, the matriarch.
Right.
I'm the granddaughter, the great-great-granddaughter of many strong, the Neff women before me who sacrificed before the country became a country, who, really is that bloodline I carry on. And I know with the world that we live in, with blood quantum and everything else, how much of the Native are you? That doesn't even really matter because of the stories and the lineage I have, it's so funny that being Native American, we're literally, our blood quantum is measured like if we're a horse or a dog to even get status. So be able to hold on tight to that, to be able to carry on the teachings from my mom, my dad, my grandparents, and before my great-greats, that's my power to carry on to the next generation. So the culture, the language, that is what I'm holding on dearly.
Yeah, I'm pushing toward this massive beauty company this empire you control. I'm pushing toward this record company that you oversee. We'll get to that. But again, the backstory always fascinates me. Tell me more about where this entrepreneurial curiosity came from.
My dad is actually an innovator. So he's an inventor. He created so many amazing products while he was actually playing football. But I think it's in me genetically because my great-great-great-grandfather, his name was Husky Fishbito, which means Fishbito Man. And he had a trading post. Right after we were released from Fort Sumner, he built a trading post. And he learned, hey, I could provide a service. So my family was really well known of being businessmen, women, and ranchers. So he started that trading post and was very successful in it. And soon, that traveled around, the reservation of my grandfather. And little that he knew that down the line that his great-great-great-granddaughter was going to be the first Native American prestige beauty brand owner. And now kicking butt in country music. It's instilled in me.
No, I was curious where that came from, and there's no question about the fact, to use your phrase, that you're kicking butt these days. When we come forward, we'll talk about the ways in which she's kicking butt. Her name is Seiki LaFrance Sacherie, and we'll talk about her beauty business. We'll talk about her record label. It's a long way. This is a long way from being a res kid, but November is Native American Heritage Month, and we are getting the jump on celebrating it right now on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on! We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Black Women for Wellness and Stand LA are standing up against harmful oil drilling in South Los Angeles. Our Bad Neighbors campaign exposes the serious health risks of drilling in our neighborhoods. You've seen the billboards, posters, and coffee sleeves around South LA. Now join the movement to protect our health, our families, and our future.
Visit bwwla.org/no-drilling to learn more and get involved. That's bwwla.org/no-drilling.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Aseki LaFrance Sachery, who is our guest in this half hour as we celebrate Native American Heritage Month, on the eve of it, I should say. And there's no better example than what she has been able to accomplish being raised as a Native and African American on a reservation. She has done quite well for herself and for her family, and wanted to have her on to talk about this entrepreneurial genius that we see displayed in a variety of ways. Let me start with the beauty business. Tell me all about it, Aseki.
Ooh, Asha Beauty. First, the name, Tavis. The name, it says, this is me in my Diné language. That's what it translates to. So when someone looks into the mirror, they're saying Asha Beauty, or they're using a product, they're saying this is my beauty. And that was the whole mission, is because, you know, for so many years, the beauty industry has told us that, you know, this is how we should look each time. And I was tired of that. And really, it was my mom who really was the one who sparked it. She's the fashionista in my family, and I admired her so much. And when we go to the beauty counters down in Phoenix, and from the reservation, 5 hours, so we drive all the way down to, you know, to the department stores to get her foundation. She'll get 2. Or she won't wear none at all. She'll just wear, you know, a few products, and she rocked the no makeup look. And I asked her, why are you getting 2 products when I saw this lady only get 1 foundation? Or why am I looking in this magazine? I don't see me. And then, you know, I would see maybe a Hawaiian or somebody or someone that's mixed, but I would never see a Native American. So I asked my mom, like, are we not beautiful enough to be in these pages? Or like, what is this? Our skin color just off? Like, well, they don't make it? And my mom said, what are we going to do about it? And I was like 8, 9 years old at the time. We're driving back to the res, and it just was just building up my head. Like, okay, my mama said, what am I going to do about it? All right. And I told her, I'm going to build a beauty brand. I'm gonna beat Mary Kay. I'm gonna beat them because they're taking all our people's money. And the industry, I feel like they also forgot that, you know, we as Native people, we wore makeup. We wear makeup. Like, I don't know why people think like, oh, we're on the reservation, we just don't have it. We do. We rodeo. We have radio stations. We have the stores. We just, you know, we're just an untapped community that is very lucrative. So but to
have this dream, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to have this dream at 8 or 9, That's a long time to carry the dream. Obviously, you pulled it off with the beauty line, but that's a long time to carry a dream.
Yeah. Again, I was truly. I go back to it was a vision that I knew I was blessed to have, and my parents always told us like we have these visions or these dreams are just communication from the higher ups. You protect it. Now you work hard and you stay focused, and you got to bring it into fruition.
Right.
And my biggest thing is going back to the question, like growing up on our reservation, or like the lady earlier talked about the zip codes define, your success, or
Sure.
I forgot how she said it. My reservation is the same thing. Our reservations are just like that. We are literally just a res ghetto in a way where we're overregulated. It's a very oppressive system. It's all those things that the system really created so that we do not be great.
Yeah.
They give us all the tools for us to fail. So my parents really molded us with love and like, you can. So I really made sure that building this brand, that doesn't matter that I'm from the reservation, I grew up, I went to school, I worked for my tribe, all these things, that it does not stop me beyond these reservation lines. I'm going to go after it.
Yeah. All right, that's the beauty business, and we'll say a bit more about that when we come forward. But when we come forward, I want to pivot now to the music business. She's doing a little bit of everything. We'll talk about that part, as they say, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. From KBLA Talk 1580.
So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
You can click your heels 3 times and go back to Nashville. 'Cause there ain't no place down in Texas that you gonna like. 'Cause down here we build houses, saddle up and work hard every day. Trying to keep alive the very thing that y'all keep wishing away.
As I said, it's a long way from the reservation. November is Native American Heritage Month, and I'm pleased to be in conversation with Aseki LaFrance Sacherie, who has a beauty line. Ashi Beauty is sold everywhere. If that ain't enough, to be in Macy's and anywhere else, selling her beauty products. She also has LMG Records, and this is one of her artists named Caleb James. Tell me about LMG Records, Aseki.
Lastassi Music Group in the house, and taking on country music industry by storm. My husband and I, we actually founded it because another thing, like there's no representation of us on the business side in country music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was in Nashville for 2.5 years, and you know, working with others and learning, but being from someone who's from country lifestyle and actually rodeo and actually lived this life, and I can see how it does work in the music industry, and there's a huge disconnect, and I noticed it, and that's a problem. Like, Houston, we got a problem.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's not going to work being in Nashville. I told my husband, we prayed on it. I said, I know I'm starting something else again, but this is for the culture, this is for the community, and for us to make it right, we got to bring it back to Houston.
Yeah.
And that's where we started. We started building it out, working with the Black rodeos, and really showing the formula, like, this is how you break a Black country artist in the Black country space that the world forgets that we are in.
and what kind of reception, what kind of receptivity are you getting or not getting in this genre, in this field?
But honestly, from the people, they said about time.
Yeah.
From us, from our community, they said finally someone sees us. Finally, we have an artist that this is our person.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we've been missing. And in Nashville, I get support, but I think it's such a new way of thinking, which is shouldn't we have always been here. Mm-hmm. It's just it's new to them. It might be a little scary, I'm thinking. Because when I come into a room, you won't feel my presence and you won't feel my ancestors. So I can see it can get a little shaky.
Yeah.
So I had to build in a space where I know I'm safe.
Yeah. What is the best part? Here's my extra question. What is the best part of being all that you are? The Native part of you, the African American part of you. It's a serious combination. What's the best part of having all that as a part of who Aseki is?
It's truly the culture of it all. That's the best part, because you know they're the same.
Yeah.
Just the principles of life and how we move from the Black community, from the Native community, is the same. It's rooted in generations deep of rich culture and family. So I don't really see difference in a way, but we move the same. So I feel like moving in my power in this purpose in any industry I'm in, that hopefully I get to normalize that we're actually very similar than different.
Yeah.
We're really the same folk.
As I said earlier, it's a long way from the reservation. Her beauty line is the first Native American beauty brand to launch an entire skincare and full cosmetic collection available pretty much everywhere. And she's in the music business with her own record label, she and her husband. So it's quite a story as we celebrate in November, Native American Heritage Month. Aseki LaFrance Sacheri, I've enjoyed immensely having you on this program. Congrats on all your success and what is to come. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's been wonderful to have you on. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Federal aid is flowing into western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene's flooding. FEMA has approved over $60 million for tens of thousands of Buncombe County residents. More than 600 homes and 240 commercial units suffered major damage. The Israeli parliament has banned the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees with a new law. Experts warn this sets a dangerous precedent, violating international law. 2 new lawsuits in New York accuse Sean Diddy Combs of sexually assaulting 2 boys. One alleges an assault in 2005 when the victim was 10, involving a drugged soda. The other claims an assault in 2008 when the victim was 17. Both incidents allegedly occurred during auditions for Combs. And today is National Cat Day. The day was founded to encourage those who love cats to celebrate their feline friends. It's also meant to raise awareness of the need to rescue cats. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Blindster is a family-run business that began in 2010, and we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters and received over 100,000 five-star reviews. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at blindster.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are one win away from winning their 8th World Series championship. Another dominant pitching performance for the Dodgers in Game 3 Monday night in New York. The Dodgers beat the Yankees 4-2 to take a 3-0 lead. Dodgers right-hander Walker Buehler threw 5 shutout innings. 6 relievers came in after Buehler and held the Yankees scoreless until the 9th. The Dodgers can wrap it up tonight in Game 4. No team has come back from a 3-0 deficit in the World Series. First pitch tonight at 5:08. The Lakers suffered their first loss of the season. They lost at Phoenix 109-105. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant combined for 63 points. Anthony Davis had another strong night with 29 points and 15 rebounds. LeBron had an off night. He made only 3 of 14 shots and finished with just 11 points. The Lakers are at Cleveland on Wednesday. The Clippers are off until Wednesday when they host Portland. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is here for you as you make your voting plan. And we've got a few things you may want to know. In the state of California, you can register to vote all the way up until the last day to vote, which is November 5th. In LA County, you may vote at any voting center or polling place of your choosing. Early voting has already started, both in person and by mail. If you need information about your registration or any election question, call the Registrar of Voters at 800-815-2666. That's 800-815-2666, or visit lavote.gov. Once you fill out your mail-in ballot, you may drop it in any county election mailbox found outside places like libraries, or you could drop it off with a poll worker at any vote center. If you suspect election foul play, voter suppression or intimidation, or other irregularities, or if you need to know more about your rights, call the Election Protection Hotline at 1-866-OUR-VOTE. That's 866-687-8683. From any state. And if you need more information on specific candidates or propositions, check out our interview